Welcome to Rotary. Mr. Dr. Lester, Cal, take it away.
Thank you, sir. We can't thank you.
Hang out. It's a beautiful day.
Oh, sing, by the dawn's early light, I so proudly we hail, and the twilight's last gleaming, those stars and bright stars, through the perilous fight, over the ramparts we crossed, we're so gallantly screaming, and the rocket's red glare. The bells were singing there, yea, through the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that song, sprinkle, and hurry up, over the land of the free, and the home of the brave. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Both Agnew, my invitation today.
Can you hear me? Bow with me, please. Heavenly Father, you bless us in so many ways and daily in our lives. Heavenly Father, as Rotarians, we have a responsibility to bless other people. And by blessing other people, we are blessed to be a blessing in their lives. Heavenly Father, we pray that you will touch the lives of people who are not, who do not have you in their heart. We pray that you will somehow find a way that they will realize how important that is. We pray this club will continue to serve those that are in need. We pray that this food will be used for the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. And I we pray. Amen.
Thank you, both. All right. Family of Rotary, Alex Reynolds.
Great, everyone. Great to see everybody this morning. We got the birthdays and anniversaries. Nobody's birthday is today, so you still have time to send these people a card or buy a gift. On May 24th, we have Ben Swinglet, Arthur Gardner, and Art Morris. May 25th, Bob Caputo. May 28th, Del Goodwin. For anniversaries, we have on the 26th of May, George Flowers and Laura. On May 29th, Stephanie Walker and Sean. June 2nd, Daniel 2 and Amanda. And then June the 3rd, Doug Blankenship and Helen.
All right, Chris King is going to do can't ask a drawing today. There are 1,183 points. And the last four are 5, 7, 5, 2.
Let's go.
This is on. Ten of hearts.
Yeah, that's right.
You stay up here, Charles.
Okay, all right.
You bring the Spagner boys with you.
No question, no question. Good afternoon. It is always a glorious day in Rotary to conduct two members, and they were lucky that they didn't get blackballed, so we're all up here, which is great. And I brought a few pictures with me, James. If you'll click on that first one,
I go way back with the Spigner family. Their father Webb and I started in grade school at Houston Academy, went on to Jordan Middle School, and then on to Northview, roomed together for a stint at the University of Alabama. He was in my wedding, I was in his wedding, their parents' wedding. And this was about 23 years ago, and that is Mr. William right there. This is William right there, and that fine little smocked outfit that his mom's got him on. And that is Barney. And believe it or not, I am Barney right there in that picture. And his father somehow roped me into doing that, and so I agreed to do it. And I think there's one more, maybe of Thomas. Thomas was a little scared of Barney there, and I can see why. The purple dinosaur just never quite understood why that took off. But anyway, that was about 23 years ago. That tells how far back we go. But I'm gonna start. These are brothers, and William has a twin brother, Addison. And you can go to the next picture, but I will start with T here. They were actually both born in Dothan, both graduated from Providence. T here graduated from the University of Alabama with majors in finance and economics. He was on the dean's list, excellent student. And today he is at Bank South with Dowling and Henry Ivey as a commercial and private banking lender. They actually both attend First Methodist Church, and they both like golfing and hunting and fishing. And as you can see here, they like to be on the water. And this is T's love, and his name is Bear. And and I'll show you William's love, but this is Thomas's love. So we'll go to the next picture. And William got him a girl. So there's but this is William. He was raised in Dothan also. He is one graduate older than Thomas. He graduated in 2016 from Providence. He went to the other university at Auburn and graduated in 2020 with a major in agriculture economics. He currently works for Heritage Home Buyers as a home buying specialist, and he also goes First Methodist. And he also enjoys fishing, hunting, and playing golf. But this is his lovely betrothed, and her name is Madison. And we were just talking about Madison, and they had friends that kind of hooked them up, and he said they met at the library, that he was there grinding it out, and she showed up, and that was that. But she's from Virginia Beach, beautiful girl. We had an engagement party for him about 6 months ago, and it was a pleasure getting to know her. And but they are getting married on September 9th, and so it is an honor to have these boys in our club as outlaws, and they've already been going on Thursday nights, getting to know all the boys there, and so I think they're going to do a lot of good for our club.
Awesome. Thanks, Charles.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all turn and face me, please, gentlemen. Thomas and William, you have been chosen to membership in the Dothan Rotary Club because your fellow members believe you to be a leader in your vocation, and because you manifest those qualities of head and of heart which fit you to interpret and impart the message of Rotary to those with whom you come in contact. We expect much from you in help and inspiration, which will enable us to be better Rotarians. And with this hope, we must heartfully offer you Rotary Fellowship. I wish to impress upon you that you have been admitted not only to this club, but to a worldwide association. And by virtue of your membership in this club, you will be welcomed in the fellowship of any Rotary club in the world. The honor and privilege of Rotary membership carries with it duties and obligations. You will be expected to attend club meetings regularly, to perform your share of club service, and to place your knowledge and talents at the disposal of the club in its task of carrying the principles of Rotary into the daily life of the community. We accept you as a member because we believe our principles and our organization to be safe in your keeping. Thomas and William, it is now my distinct pleasure in the name of Dothan Rotary Club, I formally admit you to membership in this club. Fellow Rotarians, please rise. I ask you to welcome our newest Rotarian. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'm going to ask Morgan Engel to come and introduce our speakers for today.
Today, I have asked Sean Gibson, Director of the Southeast Alabama EMS, and MeLeah Bennett, Donor Relations Specialist. For the
I'm not sure your mic is on, Derek. See if it's on.
Is it on? Hello, can you hear
Oh,
me?
okay, thank you.
Today, I have asked Sean Gibson, Director of the Southeast Alabama EMS, and MeLeah Bennett, Donor Relations Specialist for the Southeast Health Foundation, to come and share with you all about the life-saving community initiative called HeartSafe. Dothan is well on its way to becoming the first HeartSafe city in Alabama, but they need your help to cross the finish line. Please welcome Sean and MeLeah.
That's no worries. Can you expand it as the whole song? We had some, well, first of all, thank y'all for having us here at the Rotary meeting today. I'd have been here anyway, but get to come up here and go over this really incredible initiative that we joined and become part of. But we do have some videos that are embedded into the slideshow. We may or may not get to see those. Okay, so again, I'm Sean, this is MeLeah. What we're talking about is the HeartSafe initiative. This initiative, I want to kind of go back in time a little bit on where this all began. In 2019, Mr. Sutton with Southeast Health, somehow he'd either researched it, had been told about it. I don't remember exactly how he approached the conversation, but he set a meeting up between Southeast Health Foundation, the hospital itself, the city of Dothan, the Chamber of Commerce, and a couple of other businesses that he thought could get this off the ground. And I was one of the ones that was sent to that meeting. And it was a fascinating project. He templated the city of Dothan after Connecticut. There are cities in Connecticut that are HeartSafe cities, but this was a concept that no one in the room, other than what he had researched, had ever seen before. And what he was asking was that all of these entities join him in picking up the torch to get this HeartSafe initiative going. Now, you know, from that meeting, none of us really knew the exact doings and don'ts and what does it take, but we immediately assigned teams, we created a strategy, and we started basically researching and figuring out what it was going to take to become HeartSafe. Now, as we go through this presentation, we're going to specifically show you what it's going to take for the city of Dothan to be truly HeartSafe. But now I'm going to speak a little from some of the other members there, such as the Dothan Fire Department or from EMS as a whole. As many of you know, I retired from the Dothan Fire Department. So sitting on this seat, I was a Dothan Fire Department battalion chief. So that's how I was there. But in that conversation, what I had taken and what really resonated in me was that this is a just cause. The HeartSafe program, for what it can do for our citizens' safety and saving lives, it is truly a just cause. There's many times that the Dothan Fire Department, Dothan Ambulance Service, and the emergency rooms here in Dothan work cardiac arrest victims, because that's what we're talking about. How do we survive or help our citizens, our family members, our friends survive sudden cardiac arrest? Well, the Dothan Fire Department, just a tidbit of statistics, they respond to about 15 sudden cardiac arrests a month. So they are very good at what they do. They see this day in and day out. But the point that I want to tie into this program is how many times we walk into someone's house, we go into someone's church, we go into their business, their industry, their campus, and we see someone in cardiac arrest, and it's a very obvious sign when you're used to what you're looking at. And no one's doing CPR, no one's doing any chest compressions. And a lot of it, is fear, they've never been trained, all these different reasons. But out of these 15 a month, when we walk in and we see no one's doing CPR, literally our heart kind of sinks. Now, don't get me wrong, the Dothan Fire Department and the EMS system in Dothan, in Houston County, we're in it to win it. When we walk in, we're going to give it everything we've got, no matter if we fear the outcome or not. But when we walk in and we see people doing chest compressions, and I've seen sons doing chest compressions on their father. And when you see that, you get this hope. And so many times, such a high percentage, we get that pulse back and we get that person back. Well, this program, the reason we feel this is a just cause is it's a couple of fold. One, it is a cost-free, absolutely easy to schedule program that will teach your team members, your family members, your church, anything you participate in the city of Dothan, you can learn to do just chest compressions and learn to use an AED, which we have one hanging on the wall right here. An AED is an automated external defibrillator, and that's part of this program. The program teaches for free. It's super schedule friendly. And there's a grant process to where you can actually apply for an AED and have an AED provided for your company, your industry, your campus. But through these things, and it's something we're going to talk about at the end, if we can tie all this together, we can truly save lives. So let's talk a little bit about sudden cardiac arrest. Sudden cardiac arrest impacts about 350,000 people a year. 350,000. If any of y'all saw the Buffalo Bills game last year, where the player was hit in the chest, he was basically hit at the exact right moment, what's called repolarization of the heart. It is a split-second opportunity. Y'all may have heard cases where, especially young people are playing softball or baseball, and they get hit right in the chest, and they go into sudden cardiac arrest. It's a real rare occurrence. But that is an example of sudden cardiac arrest. Now, for a lot of us in this room, we, through our lifestyles, have created an environment in our own bodies that put us, we could be a candidate for sudden cardiac arrest without being hit by a helmet or a baseball. So the thing about sudden cardiac arrest, you just don't know. When it happens, it doesn't give you a warning, it just happens. But with those 350,000 people, the thing I want us all to take home tonight, to take back to our companies and our industry and our teams, is 70% of all of these cardiac arrests actually happen in the home. 70% of 350,000. So these are our spouses, these are our kids, these are our parents, our grandparents. And y'all, this can happen to any of us. There is nothing that gets you hidden from this ailment. So the thing is this program, 1 hour of training, filling out basically a 2-page application for an AED, or even purchasing an AED, can increase the survivability of anyone around you or in your space by 55%. The training that we teach without the AED has a statistical impact of survivability by 55%. And y'all, that's huge. If coming from the pre-hospital care world, not the in-hospital, but pre-hospital, we see so many of these cases and such low percentage of survival. But just bringing us in, letting us, have an opportunity to teach what we teach and to go through these other steps, you can truly save someone. And it doesn't matter if you're in your industry, if you're shopping at Target, you're at home having Sunday dinner, it doesn't matter. If you face this, you will know how to react and maybe even have the equipment at your fingertips to turn it all around. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show a video, if the video will play, you think it'll play? This is a Dothan resident who survived due to a program like this. Thank you. Yes, I got it.
Sean was trying to tap dance.
MeLeah, take it away. Technology.
My name is Christy Osborne. When I was 39 years old, I died. Grew up here in Dothan. I'm teaching over at I've been doing here for 22 years. I got into competing and bodybuilding. So I always work out. Kicking the gut to think you're so healthy and eat so healthy. I mean, my family has heart problems, but nobody's had cardiac arrest. So I mean, that was a first. I had a headache, and that was it. And I took one of my migraine pills, and it eased off some. And I had a meeting at the school at 9:30 because I was the boy who got in trouble. And he was sitting beside me, and I told him, I was like, "Mommy, just don't feel good. Like my head's hurting." And I said, "I need to call your dad to come up here." So I got my phone to call his dad, and I went to lay my head on top of Jacob's head this way, and I fell over on top of him into the floor. And that's all I can remember of it.
I was in the front office and the clerical aide said, what's going on with that lady? She's making this noise. And so I went over to her. I just, I yelled for the secretary to call 911 and I yelled at the nurses. We were actually state testing. We were giving a state test in the media center, and our principal came over and said, we need a lockdown. When I entered into the office with my testing materials, I saw the nurses on the floor in front of my office, and they were performing CPR at that time.
At first sight, we thought that the young lady was having a seizure. We ran upon her, and then we noticed that she wasn't responding and she wasn't breathing. So immediately we placed her on the floor, last service, and began CPR. I mean, what kicked in for me was, I don't want her to die here.
She did start that breathing, and upon assessment of that, I ran to get the defibrillator, and Nurse Galloway stayed to monitor.
Yeah, I stayed to monitor her, and while she was going to get the AED, I noticed that she stopped breathing again. Heart completely stopped. I had to start compressions again. And I mean, by this time, we're pouring sweat, tired. As soon as she gets to the floor with the AED, open it up, get ready to do, place the probes and everything, and they said that paramedics were here.
So once our units arrived, of course, what they found was the staff performing CPR still, because with the AED, as the AED does its work, through our training, you don't stop CPR because it's delivered in shock. You continue CPR until you see these signs of life returning. As they continued the CPR, she started having a response, which was pain. She was feeling the pain of the compressions. So when someone like Christy or just anyone has bystander CPR, just chest compressions increase your survivability by 55%.
And don't remember anything else from that day until the next day when I went to school. And I remember I felt like I'd been run over by a bus. My whole body was killing me. And my chest, my side, everything was hurting. They had to get me stabilized first. It took 2 days before they could actually go in and do a heart cath to see exactly what was wrong. And then the 3rd day is when I got, the 4th day I got the pacemaker. ICD.
So HeartSafe is a team effort between Southeast Health, really a lot of the community, Southeast Health, Chamber of Commerce, the City of Dothan, especially with a fire department focus and EMS focus. And our goal is to bring our community a level of awareness to not only have people in your industry, your schools, your neighborhoods trained in it at a minimum, hands-only CPR, but also trained in the importance of the use of an automated external defibrillator or AED to include programs to assist you to purchase an AED and put it strategically into these facilities. We have pride in returning circulation, but we give awards for people walking out of the hospital. And ultimately, pre-hospital chest compressions are going to allow people to walk out for quality of life. This is how we save lives.
If I would have been at home, I probably wouldn't have made it. Because it's not like you can call 911. You don't know it's coming.
So Christy is one of many Dothan citizens that have survived. And the ones that we've interviewed have all had civilian, some bystander chest compressions. And then some followed up with an AED, some did not have an AED, but just by doing those chest compressions, it affords them that time. An interesting number, for every 1 minute that someone does not start chest compressions after someone goes into cardiac arrest, they lose 10% of survivability. So obviously that math is easy. 10 minutes, there's no way to survive. But there's also this gray area around the 6th minute with nobody doing chest compressions. A lot of times what is left is not a lot. Usually there's no quality of life, but this is where, how you saw with the Buffalo Bills, immediate chest compressions, 1 defibrillation, it converts and it saves this individual who will live the rest of his life healthy. Christy, that last statement she just said, nothing could be more true. If she would have been at home by herself, she would be dead today. But that incident was, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago maybe, and she's still doing my wife's hair today. She just did it the other day. She's still a very healthy, vibrant young lady. So again, many testimonies from the city of Dothan, and one of the most recent ones, and y'all may know him because he works in the planning department, our business people. But he collapsed in the foyer. It's an interesting story. We taught our HeartSafe program. It was matter of fact, it was during June. During June of last year, MeLeah's going to talk about this today. National CPR Week starts next month, which is June 1st through June 7th. But last year, we taught the personnel department from the city, different departments of the city sent during EMS week or during CPR week for us to teach hands-only CPR and how to use an AED. We already knew they had an AED. Just a lot of them, they just see it on the wall. Many of us see this one on the wall without taking the value of what it can do. Well, anyway, let's fast forward into the 1st of this year. One of their very own walks into the foyer of the Civic Center. He collapsed from sudden cardiac arrest. People yell for help. They came from the personnel department, which is just right through a few doors. They start CPR on it. They get the AED. They defibrillate it. They continue CPR. By the time engine one got there, and if you're familiar with where engine one is, it's only a few blocks away, so this is moments. By the time they got there, they had restored his pulse, and he was trying to breathe on his own. And he's returned to work. They did an incredible life-save sort of ceremony for all of the ones who participated. But again, hopefully we all go the rest of our lives and we never see anything like this, especially never participate in it, but you just never know. And this is just 1 hour of time, 1 hour, and to learn something that can impact that. So as I mentioned earlier, the overall goal of this program, as sort of the challenge from Mr. Sutton all those years ago, was to make the city of Dothan the first HeartSafe city in the city. And then sharing what we've learned and the protocols we've developed with the entire state. So on the screen now, this is what it would take for the city of Dothan to become HeartSafe. 7,100 citizens. We taught 17 from a church over on the north side this Saturday. And we're teaching this program constantly because, again, we believe in it and we're behind it. We need at least 71 organizations to be HeartSafe designation. And we're going to go over how some of that process works. And some of this is inside your packets that are on the table. But these numbers are based on Dothan's population or the populace and to meet this national standard. And again, we're working hard toward it. And the challenge is that you join us, your businesses, the people you influence, campuses, to come out and participate in some of this training or bring this training to you. So here are some ways to sign up for the training. Now, and there are some other than this, but you can go to Southeast Alabama EMS's website, but you can also go to Southeast Health Foundation's website. We teach the program on the first Tuesday of every month. We have a morning session and we have an afternoon session. But if your industry, your business, your bank, if you want us to come to you, because one of the things about us coming to you is we frame the whole conversation around where you are. So all of our scenarios are as if it's happening in your industry. We will come to you. That is something we do for businesses. It is literally that easy. The hardest part is scheduling. And MeLeah takes care of that. Thank you, MeLeah, for that. But once we get you on the schedule, we're coming and we bring all of the equipment. And again, there's no cost. And you get a free t-shirt. I forgot about that. You get a free t-shirt. But anyway, that's the challenge. And we're gonna come back around and explain one of the major things that's coming on the horizon is something that ties the skill that we put in your hands, the equipment that the foundation puts in your industry or your business, but how we pull all that together.
All right, so like we mentioned, next week is National CPR and AED Week. This is another opportunity that we have to reach that 7,100 citizens trained goal. So next week, starting on Thursday, we'll be going to different businesses all throughout the community to do this free hands-only CPR training. All of these classes are open to the public. They're free to attend. And like Sean mentioned, you get a free t-shirt for coming. But spots are limited, so if you or your business is interested in getting your employees trained, this is definitely a great opportunity that you don't want to miss out on. Now I'll go ahead and sign up today to secure your spot. As far as the designation process goes, Sean mentioned that we need to have at least 71 HeartSafe designations in order to become the first HeartSafe city in Dothan. So what that means is any business, church, school, or organization that gets their HeartSafe designation, this means that at least 10% of their staff has been trained in CPR and on AED. If your staff has not already received this type of training, but you would like to, like Sean mentioned, you can email us. We'll schedule a training to come out to you, or you can sign up for one of the trainings that we already have scheduled. The next component is that your business or church or organization would need to have an AED on site. If you do not already have an AED on site, you'll notice in the folder on your table that we also have an AED grant application. So you can apply for that, and the foundation can potentially fund an AED for your business. There would be no charge to you guys if that's approved. And the final component is the emergency response plan, which Sean and his team can help you create. If you don't already have a template for that, they can help you write that one specific to your business or organization. So really, it's a simple, easy process. It is free if your AED is approved or if you already have an AED on site. So the first step would just be to submit the application to show that you're interested, and we'll help you every step along the way to get there. So just to give you a current look at where we are designation-wise, we need to get to 71 to be a HeartSafe city. And right now we have 31 HeartSafe designated businesses, churches, or organizations throughout the city. So we're almost to the halfway mark, and we're really excited about that. But we would love if your church or your business or somewhere that you visit frequently in the city is not part of this list. Definitely reach out and get them HeartSafe designated. We want as many places in Dothan trained as possible and prepared to respond to a sudden cardiac arrest event, because the more people that are prepared and trained, the more lives that will be saved through this program.
MeLeah, can I ask something?
Yes.
If you're in here and your business is currently HeartSafe or your church, can you stand just real quick?
Thank you.
Was this a difficult process? Thank you.
And one thing I did want to mention, the foundation has already been able to donate over 20 AEDs throughout the community. And this program would not exist without generous donors that live in Dothan. So we've been able to purchase and give away those AEDs because of donors in the community. And we want to keep that going and purchase even more and give out more throughout the city. So once your business or church has reached all of the criteria I mentioned previously, we will come out and do the official HeartSafe designation. It just takes about 5 to 10 minutes. We just want to show our appreciation for you putting in the work to become HeartSafe. So we'll come out to your business, give you a few HeartSafe materials. The CEO of the hospital will come out as well and just say thank you. We'll take a photo. It's great for the community, but it's also great PR for your business or organization as well. So those are just 2 examples of some designations that we've done recently. Now I'll pass it over to Sean he'll tell you how all this is going to be tied together.
Thank you. So I want to give one last challenging shout out. Enterprise and Montgomery have both borrowed our template on how we've gotten where we are, because they follow us on social media. So the race is on. So this final piece is very exciting. This is something that, again, has a lot of history. Back in, and I can't remember the year, probably 2015, and Chief Williams isn't here right now, but he's a fellow Rotarian. But several years ago, I mean, 2013, 2015, he had me research this software, PulsePoint. PulsePoint was in its infancy then. This is just a phone app, and I'm going to explain how important it is. But it's something he had seen at a fire chiefs conference, and he come back and he said, listen, they did this presentation on this software. It sounds like it does some amazing stuff. When I got online and I called them and I started talking to them about it, I got so excited. Because back then I was the EMS captain. Again, this was a just cause to me. This has almost been a mission for years. We did all the research, and one of the things that derailed it was the cost. This is a very expensive software. Now, let's go back to 2019 and that original meeting. Once we set what we wanted to do and we created a strategy, broke out into some teams to get it done, we researched PulsePoint. And it was sort of one of those conversations that we knew that we were so early in the process, we didn't have anyone to share the software with. But as we built momentum, and right now our momentum is really running strong. COVID kind of derailed us for a few years, but we're really picking up momentum. This came back to the table. And Mr. Sutton, just speaking for him, he didn't even hesitate to fund the software for the city. So currently, let me explain what PulsePoint is. It's a software that if you download and inside your brochures, you have a PulsePoint little flyer that you can just scan it and download it. Once you download it, let's just, you take the HeartSafe program, or let's say you do the full CPR class through what you do. You click on Dothan, it's gonna ask you, are you trained in CPR? Yes, I am. And then from then on, once it goes live, it will take, anytime there's a cardiac arrest situation, and I'm gonna give an example. Let's say the ladies that have prepared lunch back here in the kitchen, one of them called 911 because someone collapsed. If you're within 1/4 of a mile of that person, the comm center, when they type it into the CAD system, your phone will alert. And it'll tell you there's a cardiac arrest, CPR is needed, can you respond? A map will come up, it'll show you where the victim is, it'll show you where you are in proximity, and it'll show you the closest AED. Now, this scenario in here is easy to portray or easy to illustrate, but let's just say that y'all work at your business, like at my business, there's 20 or so businesses in our complex. 1 or 2 AEDs placed in this complex with a software like this can make all of us HeartSafe. This software is what's going to tie it all together. The skill, the equipment, and then knowing what we don't know. There's so many times that we're sitting there, we're eating dinner at a restaurant, a fire truck pulls up at the business next door, an ambulance pulls up, a few police cars, and we're like, I wonder what's going on. This is going to clear that up. This is going to bring what we learned to wherever is needed, as long as you're within 1/4 of a mile of that person. So we're going to play another video. Well, and this is just this is a lot of cities. There's about 11, 12, no, there's more than that. I think 11,000 cities that use pulse point. And but this is just a recent case where someone will say, well,
People who need help right now. So even as the Department of California tonight, a reunion between the man who died and the man who saved his life. And what brought them together, a simple phone app that its makers hope will save other lives as well. Here's ABC State Farm. Apply for a death emergency on this California soccer field for 6 to 2-year-old Fareed Rushdie. I had cardiac arrest and my heart just stopped. Lucky for him, he was just across the street. So I was about to sit down to dinner, and I received the CPR alert. Trainee paramedic Walter Huber subscribes to PulsePoint, kind of like Uber for CPR, app that connects people with life-saving skills, people who need help right now. So even as the first responders race to the scene, Huber was already there. So I immediately started CPR. The app connects straight to the 911 call center. That's 100 communities nationwide, using location data from cell phones to alert nearby volunteers. I gather that minutes matter. Definitely minutes matter. Seconds matter. PulsePoint can cut response time by 10 minutes. You don't worry that people. Our concern is really more people are trained. Language will they be willing to respond? This weekend, Fareed Rushdie and his hero, and a tearful reunion. I'm kind of speechless right now. Saving you, saving lives, thanks to a smartphone and a good Samaritan. ABC News, San Ramon, California.
so that's an example of PulsePoint. It's kind of louder. But anyway, this app is currently being installed. They're building the interface between the CAD system down at Dothan Communications and the software itself. We tentatively, probably another 45 days before it goes live citywide. But every time we teach this program, we really urge everyone to download the app. And then Southeast, their marketing team, they'll do a big campaign for everyone to go ahead and click on it, that it's going live. Another thing about Pulse Point, even if you're, it does things like it gives you all the instructions for CPR. If you're doing CPR, talks you through first aid steps and all those kind of things. But even if you're traveling, and I know a lot of us travel, if you're going into cities that have Pulse Point, it'll come up and you can accept it there, and you're part of their Pulse Point as well. So really, almost anywhere you go. But so that gets us to questions. Does anyone have any questions about the presentation? Yes, sir.
So I'm a wireless electric, and we train all our employees on CPR.
Yes.
So do they have to be, if you're training to do that?
No, sir, but that's a good point. So let's just say that you have your industry, like utilities, they train the full CPR class. Then you can apply to be a HeartSafe business. So in there, you don't have to have the training. What you would do is send a roster of your CPR trained employees to MeLeah, and that checks that box. But that's a good question. If you're already trained, that's just one step done. We just got to have your name to go in the database.
Do you have a refresher program for training? I had it 100 years ago.
Yes, sir. And,
yeah.
And actually, it has actually changed since 100 years ago. With this program, we recommend, and you'll see it in your emergency response plan. If we help you with your plan, we put a little thing in there about that. So every 2 years is best practice. Well, I'm going to give you an example. The church we taught this weekend. This church, it was their safety team. It's one of the bigger churches here in Dothan, and y'all, this was a super engaged class. Well, to follow up, they were so engaged. They said, we know that in 2 years, we'll forget this in 90 days. What can we do? So I told them, I said, we have a few things for it. And it's something that I never thought about until they challenged me. So this morning when I got to work, I took BLS algorithm cards and I downloaded them into just like a couple page handout. And I sent it to their team leaders. And it's something where you can refresh in your mind. Now, granted, you don't have anything less than practice, which is an important component. But it's something I told them, because they have monthly meetings, like planning meetings and how this went and that went. Just take 5 minutes. Go back over these steps. It'll sort of come back to you. But now we do best practices every 2 years. And what we recommend for industries is once you're already designated, is that you schedule one of the already scheduled programs, because next year we offer it twice a month. We're going to offer it 4 times a month, because we know as we build numbers, we're going to need more offerings. So next year and from then on, there'll be 4 offerings a month to have your teams participate. And of course, I could sit here and say we would never come back to your industry, but we would. We're definitely behind this, and we are in it to win it, so we will come. Yes, sir.
Is there a minimum age for this? Two-fold question. Would it be appropriate for a high school or college student trying to sponsor this on campus?
Yes, it would. And no, first of all, no, there's no age limit. Now, to complete the program, you need to be able to compress 2 inches deep on an adult patient. Stands to reason there's some people, especially young people, that can't compress that deep, but there's a job for everyone. There's 3 actual things you'll learn to do: rescue 1, rescue 2, rescue 3. Not everyone's rescue 1. So yes, there's something for everyone to do. Right now, so last year, working through retired police chief Stephen Parrish, we taught every school teacher in the city of Dothan, and that was 50 people at a time. That was a tough go of it, but he's very proactive. So yes, schools. We're teaching ACOM next week are y'all familiar with Southern Winds, the band tour where they go out and tour? So we're going to teach the ACOM first years. So because they'll be accompanying all the kids on that trip. So yes, definitely in schools. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned the classes and even AEDs actually being
That you said the grant. How long was that take?
So once the grant, and MeLeah can speak more to this. Yeah, I'm just gonna let MeLeah speak.
So, for all of our AED grant applications, we have to present those to our board of trustees at their board meetings. And our next one is coming up on July 18th. So, I would recommend if you want your application to go in for approval at that meeting, to try to get it in towards the end of June.
Do they meet every month? Every 2 months?
They don't meet every month. It's more like every couple months.
That's a good idea.
Yes, so that's a very good point. The Good Samaritan law, or the Good Samaritan Act, the Alabama Good Samaritan Act. A lot of people, they fear getting this training, or people who have the training. American Heart does a lot of surveys, and they survey people that are certified in CPR. And one of the fears that people that are the reason they won't do CPR on a stranger, or that they say they won't do it, is they're afraid of litigation or some type of civil suit being brought against them. So every state has a version of the Good Samaritan law. In Alabama, you can pull it down offline, but just a synopsis of it: if you're acting prudently and you're providing care that you would want provided to you in the same situation, you cannot be held either civil or criminal. You can't even be brought up on charges for that, as long as you act prudently. Now, getting into the weeds of being prudent. If you don't remember, it's 30 compressions to 2 ventilations. I think it was 20, they said, to 1. That's still prudent. That is prudent. You're not licensed medical providers. You do the best from what you can remember, which now with apps and all that kind of stuff. And not only that, City of Dothan, the dispatchers, they're emergency medical dispatchers. They're like a coach. Just get them on a speakerphone. They're going to talk you right through everything you'll learn in class, other than what it actually feels like to do. Any other questions? All right, thank y'all for having us.
Thank you, MeLeah. Thank you, Sean. Great program today. Just show of hands, if we had their team back during a Rotary Club meeting, who would participate? Okay, we'll get that set up. Good program. Thanks, MeLeah. All right, next week is Memorial Day, so we will not be meeting. So we'll see everyone the following week. I want to say thanks to Colton, Mark, Bo, and Chris for helping put on today's program. Congratulations to the Spiders. Great to have you guys in our club. With that, if everyone will please stand to recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will be beneficial for all concerned.
Have a great week.